Okay, these will, if that was a little hard, this is really easy. So we have the continuous versus categorical data. So we have continuous values, which are numerical or numeric. So those are the ones that we're going to see. And if you come in here, I'm going to show you because it's easier when you see it. So gender, means years of schooling, that's a continuous variable. It goes from, in this case, from 0 all the way up. And you can have an infinite number of values between 100 and 0. So that means it's continuous, it's numeric. The other is categorical. So that's going to mean it's usually with strings or character variables, but it's groups of your data. So women and men is categorical in this case. Okay. This is very important as well. So the reason we use statistics in the first place, this is the whole point. So we have our population. We're trying to make an inference or a conclusion about a population of people. So a lot of surveys will try to make conclusions about the entire US population, but they'll only sample a certain percentage of that population. So there's a lot of different ways to go around that. The population is everybody. So I use this example. Say you are giving course evaluations to high school students. So if you surveyed every single high school student, that would be you're surveying the population because every single student is putting in their input. If you're a sample is a subset or a smaller group of that population and that's usually what's used in statistics. And that's why we use it, because we want a small group, because you can't, unless you're doing an entire census and they only do it every 10 years, because it's so much money. It's hard. It takes time. So they only, in the middle between those 2-year censuses, they do samples, smaller samples. So where they're using a subset of the data to have conclusions about the whole population. So I gave an example here. So Nielsen Surveys, they actually do grocery data statistics too, which I did not know. So Nielsen Surveys are when, if you've ever gotten a call in the evening, they'll ask you what TV show you're watching or if you're watching TV at all. And then they take data from a sample and then try to make a conclusion about overall viewership in the United States. So they're taking that small subset of people and making a conclusion about the population. Go ahead.
Election predictions. Like that.
Yes, and that's why in the last election they were so wrong, because they didn't sample a good population that represented the whole population. So in a lot of cases, I think they sampled more Democrats than Republicans, and that's based on how they, like, if you, most of them are telephones, and sometimes it's harder to get somebody's cell phone number than it is to get a landline, and people who have landlines are usually more affluent. So that's an example of when you would run into an issue. So why use samples? Go ahead.
They're gonna have to figure out something else now. They want to call us on our cell phone because we want all skin calls.
Yeah, and I think some companies can do that and some companies can't, but it's harder to get that information, so you're losing people. And usually you're losing the people that can't afford a landline.
Yeah.
So, and then I already explained this, use samples to make conclusions about the entire group of people you're looking at. So we'll learn more about this.